I never thought a single click could change everything. But when I say one wrong click on the deep web almost ended me, I'm not exaggerating. It all started late one night, the kind of night where silence feels heavier than usual, pressing down on you until you have no choice but to fill it with something: music, a movie, or in my case, the glow of a computer screen. I had always been curious about the darker corners of the internet, the so-called hidden spaces people whispered about on forums and Reddit threads. They made it sound like a carnival of forbidden, knowledge-illegal marketplaces, strange chatrooms, terrifying videos, things normal people would never stumble upon. I told myself it was all probably fake, overblown clickbait, meant to scare people away. But boredom makes you reckless, and that night, I wanted to see for myself. So I downloaded what I needed, set up my browser the way the guide said, and began wandering through endless directories of strange links and dead ends. At first, it was underwhelming. So many broken pages, so many sites that looked like bad copies of each other. Nothing stood out. And honestly, I felt stupid for thinking I'd uncover some hidden nightmare world. But then, I found something different. A site that wasn't like the others. It was nothing but a black page with a blinking cursor and a question written across the top. Do you want to be seen? Most people would click away, but I didn't. I laughed under my breath, thinking it was some edgy joke or maybe an art. I clicked. Yes, that was the moment everything shifted. The moment I should have stopped. But once curiosity grips you, it's hard to let go. The screen went white, then black again, and my webcam light flickered on. My blood went cold because I hadn't touched it. I had taped it over days ago out of paranoia, and yet the little green light glowed defiantly through the tape. I ripped it off and stared into the eye of the lens, my own pale reflection bouncing back at me. My stomach dropped as new text appeared. We see you. Do you see us? That was when I felt the undeniable sense that I wasn't alone in my room anymore. The air changed. It wasn't just in my head. The room genuinely felt heavier, as though someone had just walked in. My chair creaked as I turned sharply, scanning the corners, the closet, the space under the bed, but nothing moved. And yet I heard it. Breathing. Not mine, something slower, deeper, rasp. I froze, my skin crawling as the noise came closer, until I could almost feel it at the side of my neck. I spun around so fast I nearly toppled my chair, but there was nothing there. My heart hammered, and I told myself it was just the power of suggestion. Just nerves from staring at a dark screen too long. But then I looked back at my computer, and that's when I lost every shred of comfort I had left. My screen showed me a grainy live feed of me, sitting in my chair, staring at the monitor. The only problem was, I wasn't moving. The me on the screen smiled when I didn't. Its head tilted slightly, its lips curling back into something too wide, too knowing. I yanked the power cord from the wall, but instead of shutting off, the feed distorted, static warping the image into flashes of shadowed figures in the background. Too tall, too thin, standing in my room, still as statues. I could swear I saw one step closer before the screen finally died. I didn't breathe for what felt like minutes. The silence pressed down like a coffin lid. Then, my phone vibrated on my desk. A notification from an unknown number, glowing on the screen like a wound in the dark. The message read, "You shouldn't have clicked." My blood froze as a second message followed instantly. "We're coming." I dropped the phone, and it buzzed again, again, each vibration echoing in my skull like a heartbeat. I didn't pick it up. I couldn't. But the sound wouldn't stop, and with every vibration, the shadows in my room seemed to grow longer, darker, until the entire place felt swallowed. The next days blurred together into a nightmare. I stopped sleeping, but that didn't matter. Whenever my eyes closed, I saw them. Figures standing at the edge of my bed, faces hidden in static, their voices whispering in a language I couldn't understand. My devices wouldn't cooperate anymore. My laptop turned itself on at random times, its webcam light glowing in the dead of night. My phone rang with unknown numbers, and when I answered once, a low breathing filled my ear. The same ragged sound I'd heard that first night, followed by the faintest whisper, "We see you." I smashed the phone against the wall, but even after it shattered, I heard it ring from the pieces. My lights began flickering, and sometimes, when they went out completely, I saw shapes in the darkness, reaching, waiting. I tried to leave the house, but every time I stepped outside, the world felt wrong, like I had stepped into a film set of my neighborhood. The colors were too muted, the silence too sharp, and the few people I saw moved like puppets with their strings tangled. Their faces didn't seem real, as though they were masks stretched too thin over bone. One of them turned toward me, and even from across the street, I could see the same warped smile I'd seen on my screen. I ran back inside, locking the doors and windows, but I knew it didn't matter. I could feel them inside already. My mirrors began to betray me. When I looked at my reflection, sometimes it didn't look back, and sometimes it moved when I didn't. One night, my reflection whispered something against the glass, fogging it up with breath that wasn't mine. I couldn't hear what it said, but I understood the intent. I wasn't me anymore. I was being replaced. By the end of the first week, I was a shell. The deep web, that cursed click, had pulled something through. Something that didn't belong here, but it followed me anyway. I tried to fight it, smashed my laptop, burned the pieces in the sink, poured water over my phone until it shorted out, but it didn't help. The devices were only doors. The thing already lived in my house, in my walls, in my reflection. I started seeing writing on the mirrors and the windows, faint smudges like greasy fingerprints spelling out, "We see you. We see you. We see you." The smell of rot filled the air, and sometimes I woke to find handprints burned into my sheets, stretched longer than any human hand. The figures no longer stayed in the corners. They crawled closer, bending unnaturally, their movements jerking like broken film reels. I could hear them in my vents, scratching, whispering, sometimes laughing. One night, I woke to find myself standing in the hallway, facing my front door, my hand already on the knob as though I'd been sleepwalking. When I looked down, I realized my fingernails were cracked and bleeding, as if I'd been clawing at the wood for hours. I stumbled back to my room, and as I closed the door, I saw it in the reflection of the glass cabinet across the room. Me, smiling, tilting its head, raising its hand slowly. But in reality, I was frozen, my hand still by my side. The reflection waved at me. Now, as I tell you this, I don't know how much longer I have before I'm gone completely. Some nights I feel myself fading, my body moving without my permission, my face twitching into a smile that isn't mine. Sometimes I catch myself typing words I don't remember thinking, clicking on links I don't remember opening. I know they're getting closer to replacing me, to stepping fully into this world through the hole I made when I clicked that cursed link. And if you think this is just a story, just entertainment tone, this isn't a warning for the sake of drama. This is me screaming into the void before I'm silenced. One wrong click on the deep web almost ended me, but maybe the more terrifying truth is that it didn't end me yet. It's dragging me into something worse. A place where faces peel off and smiles stretch until they split. If you're watching this, if you're hearing my voice, take it seriously. Never search for it. Never click what you don't understand. Because once they see you, once they know your face, there's no going back. And if you don't believe me, if you're still curious, then I'll see you on the other side of the screen, because that's where I am going. They're already here. They're standing behind me. And soon, they'll be standing behind you. If you think you can handle more, if you dare to let the nightmare go deeper, then click here for the next story, one darker, one that even I won't survive telling. But don't say you weren't warned.